Hi everyone, before we start this video, I have made so many of these little editor's notes throughout the whole video. I have sliced and diced this video until I can't slice it and dice it no more. I have filmed and refilmed so much of this, and I've just worked really hard to make this as much of a respectful video as I possibly can. I'm not out here trying to make anyone look particularly good or look particularly bad. I'm just here to tell my story, and I hope that you all will see it with kind eyes. But, I mean, it's kind of out of my control at this point, but I want to thank everyone for being here and watching, and I hope that I did the story justice. At this point, I already feel so much better just from making this video. I hope you enjoy this video. Go ahead and jump, but that won't stop him. Here you got a solid plan B option. I could bring her down, he's so much pain. All you gotta do is say my name. Oh my gosh, hello everyone, and welcome to my fucking channel. That should be my intro every time. Today's story time is long overdue. Now is finally the right time to do it, and I'm really excited to just get all this off my chest, and I think we're gonna have a great video. We're gonna do this, okay? And I'm wearing rings because I'm gay. Okay, so first of all, there will be some mention of sex in this video, so if you are someone who wants to pretend like I'm 26 and I don't have sex, then maybe you should just leave. In this video, I'm also going to make reference to the fact that in previous relationships I was sexually assaulted, so if that's not for you, then you should also probably leave. Again, totally fine. And I also want to clarify that the person that this video is about has never sexually assaulted me. I don't want to get that confused, because I know sometimes people just don't listen to what you say. They just hear like a couple words here and there, and they just like put them together to make their own sentence. So like, just to be clear, I'm talking about previous relationships when I say that I was sexually assaulted. Just so we're clear, not the person this video is about. Which brings me to, if you are the person that this video is about, do you really want to be here? Y'all, I gave him a heads up that this was gonna happen. He was like, oh yeah, totally fine with that. Some time passed, and he didn't really tell me he was nervous about this, but I can tell he's a little nervous about this, and in my experience. Okay, I feel a sneeze coming. No, we're good. No, we're good. Okay. In my experience, men don't do well when you hold a mirror up to their actions, okay? And this video is going to be a very detailed account and recollection of the events that have transpired and how I feel about them. If you can't handle this video, bro, just don't watch it. Like, I don't want to hear any complaints. And I'm also not going to be able to tell everything just because I do have some respect for this person, despite not really liking them at this moment. But, you know, I have to respectably remove some details. So, sorry friends. All you gotta do is say my name. Let's get started on this video. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So, you know, I had two boyfriends in college that were pretty horrendous. And after I broke up with the second one post-graduation, I just thought, you know what? I don't want to date for a long time. Because, you know, I had a lot of fucking trauma to unpack. I broke up with that ex in like the fall of 2019, and then in January of 2020 I realized that I was bi, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna kiss so many girls, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna be kissing nobody because coronavirus. And then eventually in the winter of 2021, I was like, I don't want to date anyone, but I'm horny as fuck and I can't take it anymore. Okay. I've got to do something. So then I went on a date with one girl who was nice, but didn't really go anywhere. I think the problem was just I didn't know how to be like, yes, I want sex and that's all that I want. Like, I kind of felt bad for being on dating apps and asking for that. Like, it felt rude. That's my headspace. So then in February 18th, 2022, I wrote this down at the time. I got to work and I heard this weird sound and I realized that something was like plastic little piece under my car was like hanging down because something had come undone. So I texted a picture to my dad and was like, hey, what do I need to do about this? And he said that I could just put some duct tape on it and he would fix it later. And so I thought, the people in this department probably have duct tape. So I went to that department, I explained the situation, and this guy that I went up and talked to in this department was like, yeah, would you want me to put it on for you? And I was like, oh, I'm sure. Like, I was planning to do it myself, but I'll take the help because I really don't want to do it, honestly. I walk with him to my car. He lays down on the ground and starts putting the tape on the car, and you know, me standing there watching him, it was quiet and I was thinking, and he's, you know, on the ground and like his shirt lifted up a little bit and he's like doing the thing, and I just, you know, I don't have an explanation, okay? But I was just looking at him like, huh. And so it begins. Something about that was just, it was a very intimate moment for no reason. So he fixed up my car or whatever, and in the following days he told me, hey, you know, like, let me know if your dad doesn't get around to fixing that thing with your car. I think I can do it with some materials that I have. And so I was like, okay. And then by the end of the week, I texted my dad and I was like, you didn't fix my car yet, right? And he was like, no. And I was like, yes. Then I went back to this department and talked to this guy and was like, did you still want to fix my car? And he was like, yes, which later he admitted that he was hoping that my dad didn't fix the car so that he could do it and I would have a reason to come talk to him again. Oh my gosh, how things have changed. So he fixed it and I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have social media? Because like I stalk everybody, you know, that I meet, and you were the only person that I couldn't find social media for. And he laughed and told me that he doesn't have any, but maybe he'll like get one. And I was like, oh, you should get Facebook, you know, because I figure like people put a lot of their information on Facebook. Like, I'm trying to see some things, okay? Actually, I totally misremembered that. I really wanted him to get Instagram because I have photos of my ass on Instagram, and I was like, you know, you should get Instagram, you know. But he like suggested that he would get a Facebook, and I was like, well, I guess that's cool. But I didn't know how to be like, get Instagram, because you could see me kind of naked. Anyways. And then I didn't see him all the rest of that day, and then later I was walking all the way around the building to go to my car, which was in the back. Okay, I have my audio recording explaining what happened at the time, and you guys can skip this part if you want, I don't know. He was on the phone sitting in his car, and so I walked all the way back there, and he was like watching me walk towards my car, and I started walking past and I heard him driving his car, and I was like, is he driving back to follow me? What's happening? And he drives all the way in reverse with the window down. And he looks at me and he says, I am gonna make that Facebook just for you. And I didn't know what to say, so I just like did finger guns. And now he's gone, but that was really funny. Maybe I should have told him to get Instagram instead so that you can see the pictures of my ass, but wow. Okay. Okay, yeah, so following that, I just kind of kept making excuses and finding reasons to like walk past his department so I could like see him, talk to him, whatever. And then at one point, it came up that he just got out of a relationship, a 7-year-long relationship with a live-in girlfriend. What? And also, by the way, at this point, I go from I just want to have sex with him to like, maybe we should date. Oh, I just want to have sex, maybe we should date. I don't know. Just kind of wishy-washy about the whole thing, but I'm still trying to hold firm to like this, I don't want to date anyone, because I'm trying to figure myself out and I just want to be left alone for a while, but I need sex and I'm very attracted to this person. But yeah, I've just found out that he just got out of a relationship, as in like a week ago, and so I'm like, okay, so if anything like serious happens between us, maybe it could be in like July? But deep down I'm like, you know, that is not enough time to like process that whole kind of getting out of a relationship and being single for long enough. Like, you gotta be single for a while after you got out of that kind of relationship. Like, that's a lot. I mean, some people don't, but that's a lot. So it's like, okay, maybe we'll cool it on this guy. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. Okay, if he asks me out, I like tried to write a script because I write scripts in my brain all the time. Okay, if he asks me out, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna like turn him down because I know the responsible thing is to not get in a relationship with somebody that just got out of one. So I'm there alone with him and he asked me out, and it wasn't the way that I scripted that he was gonna ask me out. Like, he used different phrasing, and I just got so excited I said yes. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But I was literally so excited. Literally so excited. But you guys have to understand that, how do I put this? I have very like low self-esteem sometimes. Like, I've never had a crush on someone that liked me back, so it was a little different. And just for me to like put myself out there, and not like explicitly but in subtle ways, and have it reciprocated was really shocking. No crush of mine has ever reciprocated feelings for me. I really put an effort in this time, and to have that reciprocated was just very shocking. So yeah, then the next day we went to go see the Batman movie, and I was really, really nervous. And I go inside and I see him and I think, what the fuck am I doing? I'm sure he thinks that's very funny if he's watching this. But then he comes up and he talks with me, and I can't even explain like how easy and smooth it was, and all of my fears just kind of went away. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it felt comfortable and easy to talk to him, which is so weird because post breakup he became the complete opposite. I didn't even notice at first, but immediately when I sat down, like, my arm was against his. I just was like instinctively close to him without even thinking. And I'm a very like, please stay out of my bubble kind of person. So I was pretty shocked about that, but then once I realized that I was like touching him, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna not be touching him for this whole movie. I'm just gonna be as pressed against him as possible. We did talk throughout the whole movie, which I think is very cute, and this is a long ass movie. You know, I was still very suspicious of the fact that he had just gotten out of a relationship, and so I was like, I am not going to develop feelings for this person until I know exactly what's going on. I need to know where they stand, I need to know if they're emotionally available, and I need to know that they're not problematic. So I came with the questions, and I was really ready to grill him. Here are the questions that I wrote for him for our first date. How old are you? Are you one of those guys who gets out of a relationship and immediately jumps into something else because you don't want to process your feelings and simply want someone to fill the space in your bed at night? So nervous. I told him about the questions and I was like, I don't think that I can say them to you. I think you just have to read them. And he's like, okay. And then he read them and laughed and he was like, okay, fair enough. And he answered all my questions. No, he is not just jumping into something. He actually was mentally leaving the relationship for a long time before it happened, like months before. And he can compartmentalize and like process his feelings separately while he like develops feelings for me, whatever. He was very convincing, but also I really wanted to be convinced, so you guys know where this is going. So he convinced me and that was that, but also, so here's the thing. In the past, I have developed feelings for people and then find out that they're assholes and then I stay because I care too much and I just keep hoping that they'll get back to being the nice person that they were when we first started dating before I knew all this fucked up shit about them. So I was not about to let that happen again. So every time that we met, I wrote questions for him. Like, if someone says something misogynistic in front of you, what do you do/not do? Are you religious? Are you pro or anti-abortion? Do you ever get jealous in relationships? Stuff like that. I was just asking all the questions and he was so game. He was like excited for the difficult questions. And it was just a really, really good date. The movie was like kind of late at night and I didn't get back until like 2 a.m. After the movie, we went to Chili's and I could just tell the waitresses thought that we were so cute. I'm like, they can tell this is a first. How do waiters and waitresses know that it's a first date? Because they definitely knew. And then we went back to the movie theater and sat in the parking lot for a while, and then he just out of nowhere grabbed my hand, and I don't know why, but it freaked me the fuck out. It was too sudden. It freaked me out. And he was saying things like, you know, it's getting late, but I know you probably don't want to leave. And in my head I'm like, I kind of do. I'm like a little weirded out. And then he just says, I really want to kiss you. And I was just super uncomfortable. I don't know about inside a car. And he says, we could get out of the car. I know it's cold out there, but I'll do it. I don't know that I'd ever felt like that, like, honestly wanted before either. I'd been wanted in like a I own you type of way. I got a lot of trauma, you guys. Never in a genuine, sincere, I think you're really great and you're really beautiful kind of way. Trauma. I don't know, I'm sad. Stop being sad. So that night I got back at like 2 a.m. Amazing. Everybody following this was like floored by the fact that I went out with a man. I'm getting sad. So then that Monday after work, we went to a park nearby and we sat on a bench, and again I like grilled him on all these questions I had prepared. And then I put my head on his shoulder and I could tell the way that he was acting that he just wanted to kiss me so bad. I was like, I don't know if this is really the right moment to kiss. I was like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. And I know if I tilt my head up to look at him, he's gonna kiss me. So then when I was ready, I was like, I think it's time. And I just slowly tilted my head up to look at him and just, this is so personal. I don't know if I can say this part. Okay, so like all the time that I spent sexually frustrated, I wasn't even prepared for this, but it all just came to the surface immediately. Like the moment we started kissing, we were making out, and I could hear myself like breathing raspily, like audibly, like loudly just taking breaths in between. And I remember thinking, is that me? It's like, where did this come from? That was the horniest kiss of my goddamn life. Okay, I gotta cut more stuff here for privacy reasons because I gotta respect his boundaries and shit. But you know what? I just want you guys to know that I cut some really juicy stuff here about a certain parking lot. So, if he's watching this, he better appreciate my sacrifice. Because this is some good juicy tea that I'm cutting. So we're spending every single day together, like literally every single day after work, we are spending time together. And there was a lot of making out going on. Okay, and that's all you need to know. No one has ever respected me and talked to me like this at the same time. I've been wanted sexually before, but it's never been... Oh, here comes the trauma, you guys. But it's never been taken into consideration what I want. It's been you're gonna consent the first time, and then after that I'm never gonna ask you again because this is your duty and your obligation. Yeah, he wasn't pushy at all, and I feel like this doesn't need explaining. But in my mind, this needs explaining. That, like, a man wasn't pushy about sex with me. Because that's new to me. This is very sad. The following Saturday, I went and spent the night at his house, which was a big deal for a lot of reasons. So, firstly, ahead of time, he asked me, what kind of positions and things that I liked. And that's when I admitted that, I'd never actually had penetrative sex before. So he was well aware of that. And I kind of liked that he just didn't make a big deal about all this stuff and that he was just going with it. Although now, later, it's been expressed to me that it's kind of a big deal to have penetrative sex and that it does some stuff to women, like, emotionally. Whoops. I call that dickcraft. And he also told me that he lives in a trailer with his mother, and I was like, I don't want to meet your mom because we are not even officially dating right now. Yeah, that's not gonna be cool. Like, am I gonna meet her if I go there? I don't want to do that. And he assured me it's not gonna happen. It'll be fine. So I said, okay, sure. Can you guess what happened? I met his mom. And I also want to add, while we're talking about some foolishness here, that I told him while we were at the park that first time we were at our first kiss, I told him, hey, I'm really uncomfortable when you talk about, like, meeting my family and doing this and doing that. Like, it's very coupley and we're not a couple. Like, I specifically didn't want to have a boyfriend because in my mind, boyfriend is someone who sexually assaults you. And I was like, I don't want that. I know it's all very sad. I know. But I was like, I'm just vehemently, like, I'm not ready for that. And I told him this and he was like, oh, totally. I feel like I'm in the same spot, like, no expectations. And I was like, great, no expectations. And then immediately he goes from that to talking about how I'm going to come with him soon to meet his family and to Florida to meet his other part of his family. And I'm like, what part of this didn't you want? Like, we just had this conversation. And then eventually, that first time that I spent the night, I ended up, like, talking with him. And I thought, well, he keeps, like, saying this stuff and I don't really want to, like, lose him. So I made it official despite being very uncomfortable. But I did it, and I was like, it's fine. And I did eventually get used to it. But I eventually did stay at his house, spend the night, and, did the thing for the first time. I spent so many nights there. I ended up spending the night on days when we had work. It was a lot of fun. He seemed to really like listening to all the things that I had to say, which, as you can tell, I have a lot of things to say all the time. And he was really open with me about, like, everything. And then something weird started happening. Everything just started to feel off. I was really just having so much trouble pinpointing what was different, what was wrong. Like, I thought, maybe are we settling into, like, being comfortable in this relationship? But, like, we didn't even date for a month. Like, this had been, like, just a few weeks. I was like, it's too early to be settling in. But he just wasn't acting the way that somebody should act when they're excited about their new girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, something was off. And I kept asking him about it, and he would just really gaslight me about the whole thing. And it just really started to make me feel crazy. Like, actually crazy. Like, nothing is wrong, but something is wrong. Like, intuitively I knew something was wrong. But it's like, nothing's wrong, but something's wrong. But nothing is wrong, but something is wrong. That was such a horrible period of my life. Like, I felt like I was in hell. Oh my god, we gotta get to this one embarrassing part of the story, don't we? Okay, so, but apparently what was happening, and I didn't realize this at the time, is that he was getting really anxious because he was wrong about himself and he wasn't ready for a relationship. He had been kind of a little stifled in his previous relationship, I think, and I think what he needed was just a lot of space and time to be single and breathe and find himself and figure things out, and that was starting to like hit him a little bit at this point, but I didn't know that yet. So I was still having deep feelings, okay? Things were happening to me emotionally. And so eventually one night I felt so much turmoil, and I was like, maybe it's because I'm not telling him this thing that I feel like eventually I'm gonna tell him. And so I showed him my search history on my phone, which was the last thing I had searched was what happens if you say I love you too soon. And he thought that was very funny and was nice about it, but obviously didn't have anything to say back. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I also want to clarify that I never thought that he would reciprocate. Like, I didn't think that he would say it back. Not that I actually said it at all in the first place, because, you know, I just showed him my phone. Anyways, but I never thought that he would say it back. I just said it because I thought in the moment, like, that maybe me not telling him this was why I was feeling that way. Like, I was feeling this horrible feeling was maybe because I was holding this in. It didn't make it any better, obviously. Made things so much worse. I felt so much more horrible after that, so yay! Then I was just mortified, and I was like, okay, but we are on the right track to that eventually. And he said, yes, of course. I was like, okay. But I think deep down I just kind of knew, like, we weren't on the right track to that. And from then, it never really recovered. I felt like I lost a lot of my power in that situation. I love power, okay? I need to feel like in some way I'm a little bit on top. So Tuesday, April 5th, which I had to know because I had to keep track of this, I got my IUD put in to be a responsible adult lady. And then the very next day, he dumped me. So yeah, it was pretty devastating. And then the next day I asked him to meet me at the park after work so that we could have like a closure conversation. And it seemed like everything was gonna be okay. Like, I was still pretty sad, but things are gonna be okay. We had planned to have a sleepover that Saturday, and I was like, hey, I still want to do that. And he was like, oh, for real? Okay, well, we can do that. Yeah, so I came over the Saturday after we broke up for one last hurrah. And boy, was it awkward. As far as I know, he was totally fine and cool post-breakup. But also, I'm quite naive and gullible, and I will just believe what people say to me. So, like, he could have lied, but then it was really awkward. And then I ended up spending the night, and the next morning, he left his room, and when he came back in, he said that his mom was upset with him because if we were gonna be friends, we shouldn't be having sex with each other. And I was like, she heard us? But we weren't that loud that night. And I'm very loud. That might be TMI, but I'm very loud. And so I'm thinking, well, we weren't that loud last night. So if she heard us that time, she heard us every time. Oh no! Oh, she heard us every single time. Every single time. I'm loud as fuck. There's no way. There's no way. So sorry to his mother. And it was at this sleepover that he told me that he was like adamant. He said to me, he was like, hey, you don't have any male friends, right? And I was like, I mean, no, I guess not really. And he's like, what are you going to now? And like was very adamant that like we're not only gonna be friends, but we're gonna be good friends. And I like hadn't even processed any of this yet, so I was like, oh, sure. I like friends. I love friends, actually. Yeah, maybe that would be great. But I told him, you know, I'm gonna need to take some space and like come to terms with all this first before, you know, we are friends. He was like, oh yeah, of course. So I took about a week of like ignoring him, which, by the way, is very hard when you work with someone, which is why I would not recommend dating someone that you work with, because after you break up and you need space, too fucking bad because you see them every goddamn day. Okay, and it fucking sucks. I would catch a glimpse of him out of the corner of my eye, and I do this thing when I see people that I like, that I care about, my brain kind of lights up all happy. And now that is times 10 when it's someone that I have feelings for. So every time I would see him, my brain would go, and then it would remember in that split second, oh, no, you're not together, you can't do that anymore. And it would be so devastating every single time. And that took forever to stop happening. I really tried hard to turn my feelings off like the flick of a light switch, and eventually just clicked with me. Why am I trying so hard to change this thing that I like about myself? I don't want to be this cold, jaded person who can flip their feelings off with a light switch. So why do I want to change? Like, as much as it sucks, I just have to accept that it's just gonna take time. It really fucking sucked. So after about a week, he came up and was like, hey, you know, it's been a week, so now you have to talk to me. And I was like, yeah. But like, I really didn't want to talk to him then. Okay, so at this point, like, days are going by and I'm not really interacting with him all that much, and I'm just keeping it very like peppy and positive when we do interact, and like keeping it cool because I didn't really know how I wanted to interact with him yet, and I wanted to keep it professional at work. But then eventually I confronted him because I had some questions that I needed answers to. So here's what I said to him. From your perception, how are we? How are things between us? And he was like, oh, I think things are good. We're friendly. And I was like, okay. I asked him, has our breakup resulted in any negative emotions on your part, not including being worried about me if I would be okay? Did you feel any negative emotions as a result of our breakup? And he said, no. I mean, I didn't really sell that very well, but the way he said it was just very, like, definitive. Like, no. So yeah, he didn't feel sad at all. He doesn't miss me. I can't believe I forgot about this zinger. This haunted me for so long afterwards. So I actually asked him point blank if he missed me, and he goes, well, there's a lot of people I miss, and you're definitely on the list. So then I read him this statement that I prepared about how, you know, we're not currently friends and how we're only going to be friends if he makes that effort, because I made such an effort to keep him and I wasn't going to chase him now that things were over. Like, I'm totally done chasing after him, and any effort that comes towards making us friends would have to come from him. And he agreed and said that that was very reasonable. And so I thought, okay, he's going to make an effort. He gets it and he agrees to these terms. That's awesome. And he didn't talk to me. He just said hi, you know, when I walked by, and that's it. And then I think it was finally Friday. The week was almost over. Eventually I ended up being the one to talk to him. And that's how it's went, you know. I kept saying, I want you to make the effort, like, when are you gonna do that? And then I made the effort. And I went back on my word. And you know what? I felt really silly and pathetic. Eventually he did talk to me and he admitted that he did miss me and he wanted to do all these things. And the way when he said that he did miss me, the like, oh no, don't start crying. The way, stop reliving things. Oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ. The way that like time stopped for a minute, because it was like, oh no, don't cry. The way, oh no, just like relief, because it's like, if you don't feel anything after we break up, did I not mean anything to you? And then I was just angry, because it was like, how could he let me feel like he didn't care at all? Like, why would he? I mean, I asked him point blank, you know, and he said no. So he let me think that he felt nothing about me. And I was so mad that he could just let me feel like that. Anyways, so then, you know, he didn't really do anything to try to be my friend like he said that he would. And eventually I was having a really bad day, so I asked him to come outside. And he came outside, and I already had one of my friends, I like to eat lunch with her in my car. So she was sitting with me and I said, hey, when are we gonna finish playing that video game that we said we were gonna play? And I feel like everybody's watching this like, you know, actions speak louder than words, Olivia. But like, I am so gullible. Like, if you tell me something, I will believe you. Looking back, I'm like, I feel like this was some prank played on me, that he kept saying that, yeah, he wants to hang out, yeah, he wants to be friends. Lying because it's, what, polite or something? But like, it feels like a joke at my expense, even if it wasn't intentional. I feel like I got punked. And so during this confrontation, I really pushed him to just pick a day for us to hang out. And he said, okay, Friday. And I said, great, Friday. So I'm looking forward to this, like, all week. It's my only plans I have coming up. And then finally I go over to his house, and he doesn't let me inside, and he's acting really weird. And then I find out that apparently he's already made other plans for the same day, and I'm there for about an hour, hour and a half. And then I have to leave because he needs to get ready for his other plans. So I drove half an hour there to get covered in mosquito bites, not even be allowed inside his house, and then drive half an hour home. He told me that the reason that he wanted to sit outside was because his gaming console was fucked up or something, and he just really likes sitting outside. I honestly don't even know if, like, his gaming console was fucked up. That could have been a lie at this point. Like, who fucking knows? Maybe he didn't want me to come inside because he didn't want to give me the wrong impression, or maybe he thought his mom would be mad, or maybe he thought it would be awkward to be back in that space again. I don't know, but he didn't communicate any of that to me. So I don't know. He said some things that were really invalidating about the way that I was feeling, and he said, you know, I don't think that you really need to make a YouTube video about our relationship. Like, I don't think that you need to make the YouTube video. And I was like, why? And he said, I just don't think that I was really that impactful on your life. Like, did I really have that much of an impact? And I'm like floored because one thing that I'm hearing when he says this is that I didn't have an impact on his life. So he doesn't know how he could have had an impact on my life. And was just kind of an overall dick. When I explained, like, hey, like, I've been through a lot with this. He did end up apologizing, but it wasn't in that sincere way. It was more of a, God, I'm sorry, why are we still talking about this kind of way? You just don't get it. It's honestly okay that we have different perspectives after the breakup, but, like, for him to pretend, like, don't pretend like you get it if you don't get it. Like, it's okay that we're not the same up here. Like, it's okay. But just don't pretend and then belittle me for feeling differently. And the following weekend, I was going to be having my birthday party, and I'd already asked him to come. I really, really considered uninviting him, which, I mean, maybe that doesn't sound like a big deal, but to me, like, that's not something I would, like, ever do. I drafted several text messages that I ultimately didn't send. And actually, it was really fun having him at my birthday party, and he was really sweet, but that's probably the last good memory that I have with him. Oh, and at my birthday party, I said, hey, you know, you did say that you were going to make an effort, and you haven't. And he looked at me shocked, and he said, I have been making an effort. I say hi to you. Do you know how many goddamn people in this office say hi to me? And I didn't invite any of them to my birthday party. And to be fair, I would have reciprocated friendship. Let me make that clear. I would have reciprocated, but I wouldn't consider our friendship solidified until he did something to solidify it, you know? And here I was still asking him to do this and do that and go these different places with me and do these different things with me, and he hasn't asked me to do one thing once. And then finally, on July 1st, one of my bosses was having a birthday party and the whole company was invited, and it was at a wine bar, and I got dressed real cute and I was excited to go, and I went there and had 2 glasses of wine, and then I saw my ex there, and when I saw him I just got this instant overwhelming wave of sadness, and I think because I just knew that he was never going to be my friend. He would never make that effort, which I'm friends with everyone. It's so easy to be my friend. Like, it takes so little effort. Like, literally just chat with me. Like, ask me about life. Tell me about your day. Like, it's literally it. And I don't know if it was the wine, but, like, the sadness just wouldn't keep down, and I just felt just overwhelmingly sad the whole time. Suddenly, the floodgates opened. It was like more and more tears just started coming until finally I was just like full on crying, and I was like, I gotta get out of here before people see me. I wish we had never dated. If I could undo it, I would. I look so cute tonight. And no one wanted to talk to me. I feel so ignored, and my ex made it seem like we were gonna be friends post-breakup, and he won't even ask me to hang out. It's like fucking pulling teeth. So we're not friends, and we're not gonna be. But don't worry, y'all. After that, my friends came and got me, and we ended up going to a gay club, and that was my first time at a gay club. I think my first time at any club, and it was really fucking fun. I saw my first drag show, and it was a great night after that, so don't even worry. It's okay. A little bit wine tipsy in the back of a car crying because no one wanted to talk to me and because I'm sad about my ex. But, like, the night wasn't all bad. Basically, after that night, I just decided, you know what, we're done. I don't want to be friends with him. I mean, who wants to be friends with somebody like that? It's pretty fucking shitty. He really just goes whatever direction the wind blows. Like, but he'll pretend at each time that it is a well thought out decision on his part. And so you go with it. Until the wind blows in another direction. He said, yeah, he was ready to be in a relationship, and so I believed him. He said, yeah, I want to be friends, and I believed him. He said he would make an effort to be friends, and I believed him. It was all wrong. At least it didn't affect work. Like, I've been able to get my job done when they say, hey, can you go talk to my ex to get this accomplished? I say, sure, and I just go and do it. I don't make small talk with him, but I get the job done. I am still hurt. And essentially what I've had to do is I've just had to tell myself, hey, you can't make any pleasantries with him. Because if you open yourself up to this, then you're gonna let him hurt you again. Because I just know me and I'm such a softie, you guys. Like, I just want to be everyone's bestie. And that's such a problem because not everyone wants to be my bestie. People fucking suck. The past month or so, anytime I saw him, I was feeling angry until finally, recently I decided, you know what? I've got to just talk to him just so that I'm not, like, feeling irritated at work because it's getting to be a bit much. Not outwardly, but inwardly up here, I'm like, this fucking sucks. So I did talk to him. I was like, oh, you know, how's this going? How's that going? And then I said, you know, I stopped trying to talk to you because it feels like you don't want to be friends with me. And he said, well, you could just stop feeling that way and come talk to me. So there you have it, guys. It's all in my head. Completely just imagined it. So yeah, he didn't take any accountability and I thought, yeah, that's it. I don't know, I think that conversation did help to some extent because it gave me a little clarity, but, you know, I'm not crazy. I see him doing these things with other people. He just doesn't want to be my friend and I don't know why. And you know what? That's fine. Oh, and I completely forgot to add this. Okay, so the cherry on top of this whole thing. He finally did make a Facebook a few months after our breakup. And how did I find out about this? Not because he added me or because I saw him on recommended. No. He added one of my best friends, and not me. One of my work friends that I'm super close to. And she told me. So yeah, that might seem small to some people, but it wasn't small to me. I will add that I am actually a lot happier now. I don't know, I just want there to be a happy ending for this video, so just pretend I said something like really nice and really great. Oh my gosh, I thought of something. Okay, I'm also having sex with women now. I'm talking too fast. I'm having sex with women now. Yay! And now we all feel better. That's that. I guess that's the end of the story. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and I love you. Bye! Hello, everyone. Are we all okay? Are y'all okay out there? Hello? That was a tough video. Are you guys alright? And I just wanted to say that, you know, if you're going through something right now, just be patient and kind with yourself because you can't rush things. You know what I mean? Hug a cat. Call your mom. Go out with your besties and drink some water, okay? And above all, just be patient with yourself because everything is going to be okay. I'm okay, and I hope that you're okay after watching this video. I feel like this was a very stressful video, so hope y'all are okay. Alright, y'all be safe out there. And it does get better, okay? I love you. It's a good sign when I'm distracted by how hot I am.